welcome to Superhuman Customs and our 100th video. That's right, been doing this for 2 years and we've done 100 videos. That's not including some of the shorts that I did, but the shorts were generally just like, you know, little quick paint jobs. But full-on videos, full-on customs, 100. And we're doing a special one today. I've wanted a Dr. Manhattan figure for a very long time, and I've wanted an anatomically correct Dr. Manhattan figure. So you guys know what that means. It means that he's naked. Now, I'm not going to show the nudity because I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube, but that is what we're going to do. I'll put a little censored up there so you don't see his penis, but that is what we're going to do. We're going to use this Jon Stewart head. It's going to be perfect. We're going to use this Booster Gold body because he has no sculpted figures. We're going to sculpt the genitalia. And I can't believe I'm saying this on a toy customization video, but that is what we're going to do. And it is going to be a lot of fun because I love Dr. Manhattan. I think he's a great character. I love Watchmen. I love the fact that, you know, it goes so deep. It is a deep, just human sort of story. And the fact that he slowly sheds his costume throughout, showing his sort of shedding of his humanity, I think is very powerful. So that's why I wanted that version. That's what we're going to do today. Let's have a little bit of fun with this 100th video and create Dr. Manhattan. So what I had to do with this guy is that I had to remove the original peg that was in here because the head set too high. I pulled a shorter one off of a Bizarro figure and put the longer one on that. And so it worked out pretty well. Just because of how this head is designed, it just sits high. So now it sits much more naturally on the shoulders. Sometimes you're gonna have to do stuff like that. You just pull these out with some needle nose pliers, like these, and mess around and hopefully you have an extra one. So I did, we're in good shape. Now I'm gonna, while he's still warm from all this stuff, I'm gonna pull his hands off because he's got these little things on him. And so I want to remove those. And I might see if I can replace his hands. We'll see. Now, one thing I'm going to do just a little bit different than I usually do, and I should be doing this all the time, is I'm going to rinse off this guy, wash him in hot water and soap in order to get off the sort of, they've got like an oily layer. And so I'm just going to do this, wash him up. I'm going to start doing this with all my figures. It's been something that I haven't developed a habit of, and I want to. And since this guy I want to look amazing, I'm going to do everything exactly right. And from here on out, continue with what is exactly right. Now, just like with the Justice Lord Green Lantern, I'm going to sand down his hair. There is a little line. It looks like it's just painted on, but the hair actually does stand out, and you don't really notice it until it's painted. So I'm going to go through and I'm just going to sand down this entire line and make it so that once we prime him and then spray paint him with the blue that I've chosen, he will look, you know, there won't be a line here. He'll just be bald, and that's what we want. And since we're adding his member, I'm going to sand right here as well, so that when I glue the milliput in place, it'll stick better. Because I'm going to kind of use this whole area so that you don't see any edges as best as possible. So I'm just going to go through and sand it so that there's just more of you know, a rougher, you know, I might pull in a little bit of rough sandpaper too, just to make it so that it has a little bit more something to grasp onto. Never done this before. It's kind of strange. I'm sure it looks weird too. All right, I got some glue on there, and this is easily the strangest thing I've ever molded onto a character out of milliput. And this is as far as I will take you guys. Just know that I'm going to be spending the next little bit molding some genitals on this guy, and that I'm going to try and make them look as Greek as possible. When I say Greek, I mean under control, if you know what I mean. So that's what we're going to be doing here with Dr. Manhattan and letting it dry. And now I'm just going to smooth out a little bit of this here. Try and make it so that's as smooth as possible between transitions, while covering up the junk so I don't get kicked off YouTube. Let's prime this guy. Now that he's primed, I've noticed that there are a couple of areas in here that just aren't as crisp as I would like. So I'm just going to go through real quick with the Dremel and smooth them out and make sure that he's looking the way that I want him to look before we paint. All right, now let's start bluing this guy up. Oops, a little bit too much. I'm going to try and go nice and light on these first. I'm going to spray from far away and try and get it so that the light coat goes on first before we do anything. I don't want it to be too thick. So I want to experiment with this guy a little bit. So I tried something on the back with fabric paint, with glow-in-the-dark fabric paint. I don't think it turned out particularly good. So what I want to do is I'm going to just add a little bit of wash to accent the muscles a little bit, and then maybe do another dusting of the spray paint over the top, because I don't want these to stand out, but I do want to add a little bit of detail just to make some things stand out. And so I'm just going to try it. This will be an experiment, and then if I can lightly dust it with the spray paint, we'll see how it looks. And if not, I'll just spray paint them really quick all over again, and that'll be that. So this is I think a worthwhile bit of experimentation just to see how this will work out, and hopefully it will work. You never know. Sometimes I love when we get lucky with stuff, truly. I really do love when we get lucky, so hopefully we'll get lucky. All right, what I'm doing is I'm just spraying from very far away and just doing a nice light coating. That's all. And we'll see how it looks. Looks like it's starting to dull down what I've done. I'm sure this is how people do it when they're airbrushing. That does look much better. Check that out. All right, I think this is gonna work. Moment of truth. The eyes. This is always the scariest moment. I'm actually not, maybe I should do it with a, yeah, I think I'm gonna do it with a toothpick. All right, let's use a toothpick here and see. It might not be any better, but let's try it. Yeah, not great, but not terrible. Eyes are hard, folks. Don't let anybody tell you different. All right, that's a good start. Play around a little bit. All right, his eyes are looking pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is just with a little bit, add a little bit already. Ooh, a little bit too much. I'm going to try and get, dang it, too much. Try and get just a little bit of wash under here. And if it ends up being too much, then I can just take, like that one's a lot right there. I can take a little bit of toilet paper. I should have had this ready. But let's grab some. Let's just go in real quick. Get rid of it. That's what you're gonna have to worry about when you are getting into some of these places where it's really, really detailed. Because you might just have a little bit too much. And with this wash, I found it's hard for me to know exactly how much is on the brush at any given time. Because like,
you get a little bit on there and it looks like a lot. So that's about, I think, what I want for Dr. Manhattan. That's looking pretty good. Maybe come in and get a little bit, round it out a little bit, dab it a little, but I think that's what we're after. I think that looks good. What do you guys think? All right. I'm going to sand a little bit right in here, and I'm going to add some fabric paint for the nipples, and that should do it. And then we're just about done. I figured out how to do the symbol, and we'll do that next. It's now time to put the dot on him. I'm going to wait to paint his nipples and everything, just in case I screw this up. But what I've got is a pen. And as you can see, it's got this hollow on the inside, obviously. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to dip it in some black paint. And then we are going to try and center it as best as we can. And drop it like this and just move it around. And then pull it off. Oh, I did it on the inside. That's what I was worried about. Dang it. Well, we've got a circle. Not how I wanted it. Oh, crap. Well, now we get to think about this. All right, we're going to take some of this paint just on this toothpick, and we're going to try and create a circle as best we can. And that should do it. Trying to clean up around the outside here. Get it as best we can. I'm also going to go through and lighten up a little bit under the eyes here so that he's not quite got such deep shadows. And then we'll just do a black dot in the middle with this same toothpick. And last but not least, let's paint up his nips. And we'll be done with Dr. Manhattan. What an interesting custom this has been, especially with the words I've used. Nipple, penis, you don't hear a lot of that stuff in these videos, but here we are. And the moment of truth. Let's see if we can get this dead center for his symbol. Pretty good. What do you guys think? He's got a little one up here on top too, but I don't want to. A little bit. All right. I think all we need to do now is spray him with some pearlescent enamel. Call it good.
I'm going to try and hold him very still so that the censor sign doesn't have to jump all over the place. But this has been a very fun custom. Obviously, this is the first time I've ever done a fully naked man, obviously. If any of you have ever done it, then let me know. If it wasn't Dr. Manhattan, I don't want to know the details. But I've wanted this version of Dr. Manhattan forever. Because like I said, this is Dr. Manhattan. He's shed his entire humanity, and the clothes represented that. And so as he's there naked, it just shows how little he cares for humanity. And that obviously plays into the rest of the graphic novel. And if you've never read Watchmen, get it, because it is great. And I love Doomsday Clock, the sequel. I thought that was great too. A lot of people didn't enjoy it, but I dug it. It was very Dr. Manhattan Superman centric, so I was on board. Well, thank you guys for watching. As always, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any more ideas of figures you'd like to see, let me know. And check out StephenHuman.com for all of my novels, because I am a sci-fi thriller novelist, and you will dig those, I promise. Until next week, I'll see you then.